2, 1.
Yay!
Good afternoon. Who's excited to be here? I am. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here today. This is a project that's been in the making for a long time, and those of us involved with it are so excited to have you see it and enjoy it and envision all of the great promotion of this region that this facility can provide. It's an exciting day for the New York State Thruway, and I want to thank all the employees that are here who work hard each and every day to make the Thruway the safest and longest part of the interstate, and also one of the most truly scenic roads anywhere in the world. We're so proud of our Thruway, and we couldn't be happier to have this new gem right along the Thruway. I'd like to thank Governor Cuomo for his great leadership in this. You know, it was his vision to have welcome centers, and out on Long Island, we just saw how wonderful it worked for the communities on Long Island to be able to promote all the great things in the Empire State. And it was Governor Cuomo's vision that got us here today. He's not here, but we want to give him a round of applause and thank him. But we have the next best thing. Her husband says even better than the governor. Kathy Hochul just told us that she's going to be on the canal this summer with her husband on their new boat. We can't wait to hear the stories that she's going to come back with. Please give a big round of applause to our great Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, Bill. As a rookie voter, I hope not to take out any of the locks on the canal. So give the word out. We'll let the world know when we're out there. Watch out, lock masters. Well, there goes my speech. So great to be here and to be joined with Bill here and see the incredible partnership that the Thruway Authority has had with the Canal Corporation, with Brian Stratton. What an amazing job you've done, but also with ESD, and Howard Zemsky couldn't be here today, but we have Kevin King representing Taste New York and the whole I Love New York. So what people may not see is really the confluence of some incredible individual leading spectacular state agencies who execute the governor's vision. That's what today is all about. It's also great to see our local partners here, the county executive, who we'll be hearing from shortly, and many elected officials. But I love this area, and I'll tell you why. I have a sense that this is a place where some of our state's greatest movements have begun. When you think about the fact that 200 years ago, not far from here in Rome, they began the most audacious project up until that point, which was the digging of the Erie Canal, just a few miles down the road. So we'll be talking more about that, but celebrating that 200-year legacy, which really was a movement to open up the West. It took commerce and people and industry opening up Western markets and Midwestern markets, really through New York City to the rest of the world. That all began here. Other movements, the flow of traffic along the incredible New York State Thruway, which was the premier superhighway of its time, that predated the interstate highway system, moving people, commerce, business again, another great movement. But I also think about the social movements that began right here. And I'm so delighted that one of our stars on the Hall of Fame is Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who started her life just down the road, living in this region, inspired by this region, and also who knew that Susan B. Anthony taught for a number of years. Her first job was just down the road at the local high school, the academy. So this is where the women's movement had its genesis as well. And as the person who chairs the 100th anniversary celebration of women's right to vote, again this year, it has significance for me as well. So I think of the commercial, the I Love New York commercial, which is just fabulous. It's a mother taking her daughter to all the sites in New York State to inspire her about the challenges faced by our foremothers and how they came up the New York State Thruway, hitting all the significant sites, Seneca Falls, finding their way over to Rochester and Susan B. Anthony's home and gravesite. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that only we can lay claim to. No other state has that history of opening up the West, opening up the world, but opening up people's minds to progressive movements, as we've done here in this very region. So that is why this location is the perfect location to celebrate all this, but also a great future. And this region is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. The governor would be the first to tell you that for decades, upstate New York was ignored. All the attention was on downstate. People couldn't find this area on our map if they tried. They didn't think it existed, but we knew it did. I'm an upstater. We knew what it was like to be ignored. And now the governor has not just leaned into it, bringing back jobs and opportunity and reducing unemployment, but saying, you know what, let's show the rest of the world what we have to offer. And while we may no longer just be the gateway to the West, we're also the gateway to the North, the gateway to the Adirondacks, the gateway to the South, to the Finger Lakes, and all the wonderful wineries and craft breweries that are opening. So this is the place in the state of New York where we show off all that is great and fun about New York State, as well as an incredible history going back to the Revolutionary War. It all happened here. When they say history happened here, it happened right here. And that is why this location to showcase our great foods was Taste New York, our I Love New York campaign, our great transportation networks, the incredible canal. It's all right here. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to honor this location. And each every one of us should go out there and tell the rest of the world, take your time. When you have to go from Buffalo to Albany, as I'm on my way, actually back that way, unless you're doing a U-turn on the freeway, which I don't recommend. When I'm going Albany to Buffalo, I'm going to tell my staff to pad a little extra time so I can pull in here and try some of our incredible beverages. I won't go with the craft alcohol beverages. I don't know if do you sell the alcohol here? Probably not. Okay, I'm not going to ask. Okay. Have a nice cider, grab an apple, and sit out here and enjoy this spectacular scenery in what can only be called the magnificent Mohawk region. So thank you very much, and look forward to cutting the ribbon momentarily. Thank you.
Our next speaker, before he comes up, I just want to pause for a moment and just consider where we're at, because the Lieutenant Governor brought this up. I think it's really important. Would we be here today if it weren't for Horatio Gates beating Burgoyne at Saratoga? Or would we be here today if it wasn't for our great governor who preceded our great governor by many years, Governor Clinton, who had the vision to make this canal? Would we be here today? I don't think so. So what more of a better place to celebrate history is the history that, but for that, we wouldn't be here. So it's a great pleasure to be able to be the MC at this event, and to also introduce Kevin King, who, in addition to being Deputy Commissioner for Ag and Markets, is the Ag and Markets guru in charge of Taste New York. And I want to thank him on behalf of my children, who are mass consumers of New York maple syrup. And I was able to buy a gallon of maple syrup for about $50. Now find a better deal than that, because if you buy it by the quart, it's a lot of money. Thank you, Kevin. My kids say thank you.
Bill, we'll get you another gallon of maple syrup. I'm sure we can. We got plenty of it coming out of our New York forests here. On behalf of Commissioner Ball, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And on behalf of our 36,000 farms and agricultural producers in New York State, this is another wonderful opportunity provided that we can showcase our many New York food and beverage products. Governor Cuomo, 3 years ago, initiated the Taste New York program. We have now over $13 million in gross sales that have inured to the benefit of our local producers in this state just in the last year alone. And we continue to build this platform with opportunities like this one to give our producers a way to showcase their products, to showcase their unique and new products, as well as to highlight some of the ones we've been producing for a long time. Our maple syrup, that's a wonderful top 3 in New York, in the country in terms of production of maple syrup. We have some of our local producers here today, and hope you'll come in and visit with them. Folks like Denise Wist with Two Natural Blends. It's a new product. She's been in business 3 years. This is a great opportunity to be able to showcase her product, and we hope you'll come in, buy a bottle of the fruit-infused water that she's selling in there, grab a cup of coffee from our Capital District coffee roasters, and then don't forget to get a sandwich. So you got your whole lunch in there. I hope you're getting hungry because we want you to go in and buy some. So thank you for the opportunity, and Taste New York has been a wonderful platform for promoting these local food and beverage products. This center and the governor's vision for putting these welcome centers together to further advance those opportunities has been a tremendous thing and very beneficial for our local producers. So thank you, and stay hungry.
Kevin wins the Best Tie Award. Thank you, Kevin. Howard Zemsky wasn't able to be here, but he does have someone in the audience today who has made a huge difference in this project. And along with Mike Wojner, I'd like Mike Wojner and Lizette Montero to please stand up and please take a big bow of appreciation. Where did Mike go? Mike Wojner. We didn't do anything here without those two signing off on it. I just want you to know. And Lizette was here early this morning checking everything out to make sure it was just the way it was supposed to be. So great job. Really appreciate all that you and Mike did. So Howard wasn't able to be here, but he did send Lizette, and we would thank him for that. There's a bunch of people that worked on this, and I remember being here taking selfies with some of the workers, and some of those guys hadn't worked in a while. Matt, you know what that's like when people haven't had a chance. So somebody who certainly knows what that is and understands how difficult it can be to keep your constituents working is the county executive, Matt Ossenford. Please come up and say a few words, Matt.
Thank you very much. It's certainly a pleasure to be here today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the governor and his very large team for all the work that they've done today. And it really to have the state and your local officials seamlessly together in promoting tourism and in line when it comes to your strategic objectives is fantastic. So I sincerely thank the governor and his team on that front. I would also say that when we looked at it locally, one of the things we needed to do a better job of was when people come through Montgomery County is to have them stop and appreciate all the things that I know and love, the same reason Dusty moved here and decided to stay here. There's a tremendous amount of positives in this area. And I was raised with the saying that you always got to put your best foot forward. And I really believe that this facility helps us put our best foot forward and will really help us in our mission of getting the word out about how special Montgomery County is and how special ultimately the Mohawk Valley is. So thank you everyone for being here today and celebrating with us, and thank you to the governor because we wouldn't be here today without him. So thank you.
And you've all heard that there's a 200th anniversary or something. I don't know if Brian Stratton can come up. We're going to do a little thanks together of all the people that worked on this, because this project started when the thruway and the canal were together. And there's very few people that had as much hand in the early stages of this as Brian. I think it's really apropos that we give him and his staff a big round of applause.
All goes to the lieutenant governor and the governor.
I want to specifically thank, along with Brian, Matt Denoyer, Tim Mastro, Rich Lee, and Tim Conway. Would you guys stand up and take a bow? You guys worked really hard on this project. Rich Lee started getting his mail here. His wife never saw him. I want to thank him. The crews of Stan Tech and D.A. Collins, give them a big round of applause. They did a great job. You can see the proof is in the pudding. And our state legislators, the lawmakers who made sure this money was in the budget, Senator George Amador and Richard Funke, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. They work hard for us, and because they're in session, they weren't able to be here. And assembly members and my Twitter pal, Angelo Santa Barbara and Daniel O'Donnell, I want to thank them for what they've done. And so, Brian, if you want to say a few words, you have to answer a trivia question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Inside, you learn about the great history that we talked about. You learn about the great natural beauty that's here. So, Brian, if you can answer this question, you get to say a few words. How many Finger Lakes are there?
How many Finger Lakes?
I'll loan you one.
Oh, there are 11 Finger Lakes. Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor and County Executive, and Kevin for joining us today on this fantastic event. right here off of the New York State Thruway and at Lock Erie 13 along the Erie Canal. Indeed, it is the canal's bicentennial. It was 200 years ago. Next month, that ground was broken to build the world for a waterway that even President Thomas Jefferson said was an idea that was a little short of madness. Who would have tried anything if President Thomas Jefferson said, don't do it? But DeWitt Clinton and all New Yorkers stood up to him, and they built the greatest inland waterway in the world, and it is 200 years old this year, and that deserves another round of applause. Today's Erie Canal, and this is the third generation, today's Erie Canal is fun, beautiful, and dynamic, and it is a tourism economic engine generating some $400 million of tourism spending along the canal and along the Canalway Trail every year. And for things that the canal provides outside of tourism, water, irrigation, industry, farming, the economic impact is close to $6.3 billion. That should have been your trivia question, because I know that.
I don't have that many fingers.
But as we go forward with the tremendous bicentennial celebration, and we are having events all across the state, and county executive, we just had a fantastic opening and event at Amsterdam's Riverlink Park and Schoharie Crossing. I even got to bond with Clementine the mule. So that was a special treat. And she was there, and she was happy that we didn't have to have her haul a barge. But as we get closer, we're going to be having this year for the bicentennial, the World Canals Conference comes to New York State. September 24th through the 28th in Syracuse. Canal enthusiasts, operators, and stakeholders from around the world, Europe, North America, Asia, will convene here in our state to see this wonder of the Erie Canal, and we could not be more proud. Thank you so much, and congratulations on this great day.
That's right. And now I think we're going to have a little photo op with the governor and lieutenant governor helping us cut the ribbon.